Are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? Today I'm sharing some practical tips of how you can build a strong Christian marriage that thrives. That doesn't mean it'll be a perfect marriage because, quite frankly, friend, those don't exist. But it's a marriage that's growing stronger each and every day and year. Let's face it, life throws us curveballs. And if we have the right tools in place, we can learn how to strengthen our bond with each other and deepen our love. So let's dive in and learn how to do that. There are a ton of different tips I could share with you to build a strong Christian marriage. But let's face it, friend, that would be a very long video. You wouldn't want to watch it, and I wouldn't want to watch it either. So I'm just going to share 3 of my favorite tips with you that have helped us in our marriage. And with that being said, there's also a 4th. There's a bonus tip in there too. But with that being said, we don't have it all together in our marriage. We don't pretend to, we don't say we do. We argue, we disagree, and we love each other through it. So these are just things that have helped us, and I want the same for you. I want you to have a strong Christian marriage yourself. Put God first. Now, I know how cliche it sounds for a Christian to say, put God first in your marriage and you'll be able to build a stronger marriage. But it really is true, because I had to learn this one the hard way, friend. I was in my early 20s when I had been married just a very short time, and I realized, actually the Holy Spirit showed me, that I had put my husband in a place that he didn't deserve. It wasn't reserved for him. I had put him number 1 in my life, even above the Lord. And when the Holy Spirit revealed this to me, I promised him that I would do everything I could to put him back where he deserved, to put the Lord back to number 1 and put God first in my life. This is one of the best decisions I could have made because I learned to truly rely on the Lord before my husband. Little did I know that just a short time later, I would learn that my husband was cheating on me. There was someone else in his life, and we would divorce, and it would be hard, but because I had relied on the Lord and his strength, I could move forward. Now, I know that it sounds weird for me to be sharing about my divorce as I'm sharing at the same time about Christian marriage tips and how to build a stronger marriage, but it's because of that situation that I walked through that I can share with you that you need to put God first in your marriage. So it's just going to set you up for success in your marriage if you put God first. Here's what I want you to think of when you think about your marriage. I want you to think about a triangle, and you may have heard this before, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. So at the bottom of the triangle are you and your husband, and at the point of the triangle is the Lord. If you're growing in your relationship with the Lord, look what it does. It points you together, and you're both growing together in your relationship with each other. That's a great picture of how to put God first in your marriage and what it's going to look like when you do that. I want you to know this. When you put God first in your marriage, you are setting your husband up for success. He can't be Lord of your life. There's only one person that can do that. So let him be number 1 in your life and put him first in everything. You will have a much, much healthier relationship if you do. Choose gratitude. Friend, it is always, always easier for us to find something negative in a situation than it is to find something positive. What would your marriage look like, though, if you chose in the moments where you wanted to think negatively about your husband, you chose gratitude and something positive about your husband instead? My Bible study lady shared this story with me, and it fit so perfectly that I had to share it with you. There was this husband and wife, and they were arguing, and their son was listening in the other room. And in the middle of the argument, the husband left the room. He didn't come back, and so the son was concerned, and so he went to seek out his dad to see what the problem was and why he wouldn't come back to talk to his mom. And he found his dad looking through a journal, and he asked him what he was doing, and he said, "I am looking at the list of things that I love about your mom." This man was choosing gratitude. He was choosing joy. He was choosing positivity. In the moments when it's hard to think about why you love someone when you're arguing, choose gratitude. In the moments where you're doing okay, choose gratitude. Write down every night, once a week, once a month, the things that you love about your husband and that you're grateful for about him, and choose gratitude. Learning and growing is something I'm always wanting to do, so I'd love to know, what has the Lord taught you about marriage and how to build a strong Christian marriage for yourself? Learn to communicate well. I'll be the first to admit that communication can be one of the hardest things, and it's something we're always learning and working on in our marriage. There are a ton of different ways we could talk about communication, but I have to tell you about creating a code, and it's been a game changer for us. And I love that this just happened. It wasn't something that we were intentional about, but we are now. So one night, my husband and I were laying in bed. I was wanting to have a conversation with him, and he was ready to go to sleep. He kindly looked at me and said, "It's after 10." And I knew what he was telling me without telling me. He was saying, "I really don't want to talk about that right now. I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm ready to turn off my brain." So ever since then, if there's something that we don't want to talk about right that second, we'll say, "It's after 10. It's before 7. Any type of iteration of that. And then we'll circle back around and talk about it later. This has been a game changer for us. So I want you to try it. Create a code with you and your husband. Talk about it beforehand. And when you're in that situation, you're not ready to talk, you could just say whatever your code is. It will be game changing. I can't wait to hear about it. Now I promised a bonus, and that is this. Seek help when needed. There's absolutely nothing wrong for you to go talk to another Christian couple about whatever you're facing, whatever you're walking through. There's nothing wrong with going to seek a counselor to learn how to communicate well with each other or to talk to each other about certain situations. The Lord gives us different people in our lives, and we need to take advantage of that and use the tools that He has given them so that we can grow together in our marriage. One thing I want you to remember is that building a strong Christian marriage doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes faith. It takes commitment. And it takes loving each other even when you don't want to love that other person. So don't give up and keep fighting for your marriage. It's worth it, friend.